We back here at Natchez, Mississippi, where our brothers, the mighty tribe of Gad, was here, and you know, we're just coming back out here to get the history, because there's a lot of history down here in Natchez, not only for Judah, but for the Northern Kingdom as well. So we coming out here just trying to dig and get all the history that we can, as you can see. And we have the other mounds we're gonna go to too before we leave here, but we just wanted to come, you know, bring the brothers here to see the history, you know.
We at the grand village of the Natchez Indians. Natchez Indians was a profound tribe. They fought back, rebelled against oppression. You know, right now we standing on a mound. What's the name of this mound?
It was the Great Sun.
Great Sun. He was basically a Natchez Indian chief. And this is where his house is built on this particular mound that we on right now. So our spirit of our forefathers is here. Mighty men.
All praise to the Most High. Just good to study our history. Just like we read it in the Bible, we walking through it. We're walking through it right now in our history. All praise to the Most High.
That's why I said it was in 4 stages. So one of the most powerful tribes, Gedaliah tribes, of course, in the southeast region, they held all this down around here. So we just coming out here. We walking up the mountain and we tired. So we can imagine what our brothers, you know, what they was doing.
Look at this.
Every day. It's a whole community right here.
I want to thank you for your mercy. All the times I thought I wasn't worthy. Through the tears and pains, you always hurt me.
We at least 150 feet off the ground.
Man, I don't know how high off the well, how can I say?
We at least 150 feet off the ground, at least.
I don't know.
Maybe more than that.
You had a tape measure.
Like dirt here, they had actual rocks and stuff.
Right. They took time to build this.
Right. You can imagine all the palm trees, cultivated land.
And don't believe the hype where they say like all of us left. No, all of us didn't leave. They stayed and was classified as blacks. So we think. What we think in our mind, we think, oh, Gad's supposed to look like this. No, Gad can look like me, him, whatever, our brothers. So don't get it twisted with their imagery, thinking that we cannot be Gad, because trust and believe, it's a lot of us in Mississippi Gad. Believe that.
Right.
Out here looking at our history. 6 and 12.
Hey, over there, get a picture real quick.
Yeah, we all got it. Let's get us a picture, man. We back now. Tell them we back.
Back on the mound, baby.
Ku Klux Klan of Mississippi was very prominent during the eras of the 1960s that you've probably observed. Being a member of the Klan, to some people, was no less than being a member of the Kiwanis Club, you know, believe it or not. That's their mindset.
The Ku Klux Klan was very active in the South, clearly, in the 1950s and 1960s, and some would argue even through to today.
And that we can enjoy some of the same freedoms, because going to the doctor's office, seeing them, blacks on one side and whites on the other side. Back then, you go to the park, you only have a section of the park that you could play in, and they had their park, and everything was marked, you know, black and white. When he take us to the ice cream to get ice cream cone, we had to get served from the back door, and it was just crazy.
I stay right here, and I was laying across the couch, and I heard the shots go off. And I got down, got my baby down. And next thing I know, I just hear somebody yelling, "Oh, they got her, they got her, they got her." And when I came outside, she was laying against a car that was right there. And another dude was laying against another car right here. Boy, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And she ended up getting shot in the back. And she died like within an hour.
And she was pregnant too?
Yeah, she was 3.5 months pregnant with a little boy.
And what about you said the gentleman it was a gentleman laying beside the car too, he got killed too?
Oh no, he ended up getting shot in the leg, but he lived.
You see, we don't supposed to live like this, you know what I'm saying? We guys told the people we never was taught that. We put violence on each other, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lack of knowledge of who we are, you know what I'm saying? We don't understand that we the princesses, we don't understand that we the kings of the earth. And we end up living in these worse conditions and have to face things like this every day, you know what I'm saying? The torment and the sorrow of our mind. But that's why it's important to know who we are so we can stop the violence, stop the gang violence, stop that, the murder spirit, stop all that, and come back to the righteous people that we're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And so how did that make you feel knowing that you have a son here trying to take your son, but knowing that
I barely let my baby come outside as it is now. I don't let her come outside unless I'm outside with her. But it did hit a lot of people out here hard. Because everybody loved her. She had a good personality, kind-hearted and sweet and everything. And she already had a child.
that's sad.
So it hit a lot of us out here hard.
I understand that, sister. That's why we out here. We trying to get a solution. We trying to stop that. We stopping it with the Bible. Let them know who we are, first of all. Let them know our history. Because not Christianity, but Christianity is not the Bible. Christianity is just a religion. You know what I'm saying? Just using the Bible. But we actually using the Bible because we doing what the Bible say do. Say like this, marrying our sister. No longer a baby mama. We're not laying down with a sister here, then go across town, laying with a sister, got a baby here and baby there. No, we preach what the Bible say. Hebrews 13:40. Marry, you know what I'm saying, your sister. Take care of your kids. Be in the household with your family. That's what we're doing. So that's what we're trying to do. We're telling our brothers, stop selling dope. You know what I'm saying? Stop the gang violence. You know what I'm saying? That's why we out here, you know what I'm saying? Because we love our people. We know now. We didn't know back then. We was doing the same thing. We was running the street while I was being whoremongers, drug dealer, gang bangers too. But now when Most High woke us up to who we are and what we must do to get we like, wait a minute, man, we can't do this. We can't do this no more. So you know what? Let's go out here to the communities. Let's wake our brothers and sisters up. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing.
Because that gang-related life, all what's gonna happen to you is this.
I don't like them cameras though.
You go dead, and you get a T-shirt. You get somebody with your face on the T-shirt. Then what? If you were really popular, somebody might spray paint your name on the side of the house. Other than that, what is it?
My people are so confused. They don't wanna taste the truth. I know this very well. Yeah.
So he said, I'm only in the midst of y'all, read.
And that I am the Lord your God.
Your God, your Y-O-U-R. That's possessive. That's your shirt. It ain't mine. It's your hat. It ain't mine. God says, I'm your Lord, your God. Read.
And none else.
And nobody else. Now, how somebody gonna sit down and say God, everybody God, when we read in the Bible that he said he only our God and nobody else God. Okay, I'm gonna prove it a little bit further. One more scripture. Go to Amos 3:1. So watch. Same thing in Amos. Joel said it, and then his brother Amos wrote it. You see what I'm saying? Because the Bible has been talking about you the whole time. Talking about my brother right here. Talking about us the whole time.
call it a spiritual enlightenment from a different perspective. But Officer Gedaliah here from Jackson, Mississippi. And we're going to let this brother bless us with some encouraging words and knowledge that I'm sure you don't get on a daily basis. So we welcome you, brother, and do your thing.
I'll pray. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. How everybody doing this evening? Everybody good? Okay, like the brother said, my name is Officer Gedaliah. The name of our organization is Israel United in Christ. Our elder, Bishop Nathaniel, started this congregation in 2003. He and Elder Bishop Kanai. And basically, what we do is we teach black history out of the Bible. Because whether you know it or not, the Bible is black history. It's actually your history. And we are here to prove that today. And that's what our main goal is. Our main focus is to change the minds of our people, give our people the understanding of who they are according to God. Because our entire lives, we have been taught that God doesn't look like us, that Christ doesn't look like us, that the Israelites doesn't look like us. Well, we're here to challenge that thought today with the Bible, the very Bible that everybody else uses. We're going to challenge that thought today. So if you could start off with, before you decide, before you go to Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. If you got a Bible on your phone, King James Version Bible, if you got a Bible on your phone, use it. If you got a Bible on you, use it. We encourage you to follow along so you'll know what we read is not something that we made up on our own. Okay, that's basically what we do. So we're going to start off with Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. Read it a little loud for me, too.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
So we all from the country, so we know what an ox is. An ox is basically a dumb animal. He can't think like me and you. He don't know 2 + 2 is 4. He don't know none of that. He just eat grass, use the bathroom, and be out in the field. That's an ox, right? Read.
And the ass, his master's crib.
So, and an ass is a donkey. A donkey knows how to get home. You take a donkey 30 miles away from home, he'll eventually find his way. So he says he's comparing a people to 2 dumb animals. God says the ox knows his owner, he knows who his God is, and the ass knows his master's crib, meaning where he's from. Read.
But Israel.
But the Israelites, God's chosen people, the Jews, read.
Doth not know.
They don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. Read.
My people doth not consider.
Nor do the Israelites even consider who they are. That's what the Bible is saying. That's what he is saying. So let's find out who the Israelites are out of the Bible and not out of opinion. All right? First slide. Read Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. When you read the book of Deuteronomy, that was written to the Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1 said, these be the words that Moses spake unto all Israel on this side of Jordan. So when you get to chapter 28, he's still talking to the same audience. He's not talking to all nations on the earth. He's talking to one nation. All right? Read Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14 is the blessings that God will put upon the Israelites if they did what he said. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68 are the curses that God will put on the Israelites if they disobeyed. All right? So we're going to see who these curses fit today. All right? Read it.
The book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15.
Read.
But it shall come to pass.
Come on.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So, how many people in here got a car? Everybody have a car. How many people has paid a car note at some point in their life? We all have. When you buy that car and you sit down with the loan officer, you say, what? I'm going to pay on the 15th every month, X amount of dollars, right? Say 2 months go by, you don't pay. What happens? You come to get it. I done had my car repoed before. I don't know about y'all. I done been broke in my life. Well, I done got 2 cars repoed. Come out there in the morning, there's tracks in the yard. Because they done snatched my car. So that's what God is saying. This is basically a contract, a covenant with a chosen people. He said if they broke his commandments and they didn't listen to his voice, come on.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
What would happen?
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
My brother right here, what's a curse? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, right? Would you agree that a curse is a bad thing? Everybody. We agree that, right? Yeah. So let's go to verse 16, next slide. So let's see if this happened to us or if it happened to the so-called white man that lives in Israel today calling himself a Jew. Read.
Verse 16.
Come on.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
When you go through the cities, let's just use Natchez for instance, right? us. Who was on the auction slave box getting sold in the city of Natchez? Right across the street. Right down there. Black people, right? Us. We were sold in the city. When you go to the ghetto, who lived there? How many of y'all been out of Natchez in your life? Have you been to the hood in the city that you went to? Who lived there? Is that a coincidence? It's not a coincidence. God told the Israelites, his people, that if we disobeyed his word, we would be cursed in the city. When you hear sirens, where they going? Our neighborhood. When you see ambulance, when you see funerals, where they going? Our neighborhood. Why? Because we God's people, his chosen. And he told us if we was disobedient to his word, we would be cursed in the city. 25, 35 sold in Master Charles in West Virginia. Families broken up. Potholes in the street. That happened to us. Come on, read the bottom part.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
I know y'all, I know this hit home with y'all. Go to the next slide. It said, before we do that, it says, the slave market located where Wall Street reached the East River was established in 1711 as a place where enslaved blacks and Native Americans could be hired or purchased. So what is Wall Street today? My brother, what's Wall Street today?
Selling post, basically, selling stock.
Right, selling stock. So who was the first stock?
Right.
Us. Before McDonald's was a stock, before Chevron was a stock, before Mitsubishi was a stock, we was a stock. We made America rich. We did. How did Moses write that down 3,000 years ago and then it happened during this time? Because this is a spiritual book. This is a true book. This is the true word of God. God told us if we was disobedient, this would happen to us. Read. Read. Next slide. Also, we'll read this as well. Thousands of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans were in bondage and sold to early colonial settlements of New France. So you got people in France. Quebec, which is Canada. New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and Upper Canada. So that's why you got a lot of black folks north of the border. That's why you got black folks in China. That's why you got black folks all over the world. Because we the people of God. He got us sold into slavery for disobedience. Cursed in the city. I lived in France. I've lived in Israel. I've been to Russia. I've been a lot of places playing ball professionally. And I've seen a lot of things. And one thing I know consistent, when you go to the hood, black folks live there. No matter where you go in the world. Read. Go to the next slide. Read that part. Read that part. That curse.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
Who picked cotton for free? Who still ain't got a reparation for cotton? You know, Obama ordained for the Jewish Holocaust members. Didn't they have a Holocaust here? Called the Devil's Punchbowl? How much money y'all received from that? Government estimate $1 trillion per so-called African American for what happened to us, right? So God said, if we were disobedient, we'd be cursed. Cursed shall thou be in the field. That ain't just talking about picking cotton. Do you know that in the 1860s, Mississippi was one of the richest places in the world? Exactly. The fourth largest economy in the world, this one state. And now we don't have a pot to piss in here. All over, as a nation, not just individuals. Because we got some people that have money. But as an individual, as a nation, we don't have the things that should be presented for us. Healthcare should be easy. My wife is pregnant. Can't get healthcare in the middle of a pregnancy term. What is this? Government shut down. Food stamps cut. Who that affect the most? Affects us. So the Bible telling us that, look, if we are disobedient to our God, we're going to be cursed in the field. Think about that. 1860. The richest, fourth largest economy in the world off of our blood, sweat, and tears in the cotton field. Right? So go to the next slide. Cursed in the field. And they ain't just talking about cursing those fields back then, because we cursing the job field, because who the last hired first fired? If somebody even says that they thought Jeremy took a box, they ain't gonna even wait to see the camera. They already firing you. Because we God's people. God said these curses have to happen because you my children and you was disobedient to me. And we still disobedient today, believe it or not. Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Yeah, read it.
Verse 17.
Come on.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
My brother right here. How you doing, bro? What's your name? Drake. Brother Drake. All right, Gedaliah. Nice to meet you, brother. What do you put in a basket? If I got a basket, what do I put in it?
Put your comments in there.
Right. You put your goods in there, your finances, your harvest. Where our fields at? Where our fields at? Whereas our banks, less than 1% of banks are owned by black people. Less than 1%. So that means one nation of people control 99% of our money. That's what the Bible's saying. God said that was going to happen. How can somebody write this down? You got to think about this. This is spiritual. This is not just physical. This is spiritual. How can somebody write this down and it happened? It said, "Curse shall be thy basket and thy store." So every time you get money, what you got to do with it? How many of you can just get money and just hold it? They ain't got to do nothing. I know it ain't me. Every time I get bread, it's gone. Ain't that right, little mama? She know. Every time I get money, it's gone. That's a prophecy in the Bible that God said that would happen to his people. We was in Egypt. When we was in Egypt, what were we doing? We were slaves in Egypt, right? So read Exodus 20 and 2 real quick. Read Exodus 20th chapter in the 2nd verse.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2.
Come on.
I am the Lord thy God,
read,
which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Come on.
Out of the house of bondage.
What is Egypt?
Bondage.
House of bondage. That's another word for Egypt. It's a Greek word that means slavery or bondage, right? So he said he was going to have to bring us out of the house of bondage. So now go back to Deuteronomy 28:6.
Deuteronomy chapter 20.
Remember what we went over today. You must read the Bible here, 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 here. It's his own definition. It's his own dictionary. He said he's going to bring us back into Egypt. Now let's go back and find out what Egypt is in this context. Come on.
In Deuteronomy 28 verse 68.
Come on.
And the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt.
Slavery.
Again.
Slavery. Bondage. Read.
Again with ships.
How are we going to get to Egypt this time? With ships. So if all the other curses we went over kind of mess with you, like, they could have been them, they could have been us, I'm not sure. This one right here sealed the deal. That's why it's the last curse. That's why God said, I'm going to seal the deal with this one. Not only am I going to do all that to them, I'm going to send them into slavery on cargo slave ships. That's how we got to all these different lands, these different nations. And they call us different names now. Go to the next slide. Keep reading, but I want you to go to the next slide. Look at that. Look at that right there. Slave ships. Why? Because we were disobedient to our God. Think about the conditions. We have women in here. You all had, some of you have had children before. Bled, right? Was you able to get the proper medical care on a slave ship stacked on top of your brothers and sisters? What if you did have a child and the child had to use the bathroom, or the child got sick, or the child died, or you died? What you think they did with your body? Threw you overboard. That's why the Middle Passage, you heard the Middle Passage before? The sharks still, thousands of years later, swim in those same, or 400 years later, swim in those same waters looking for our carcasses, our corpses. Why? Because they was eating so many of us that they were just throwing us off the board like a million. Don't let them fool you, make it seem like 80 black folks came on ships. They brought us over by the millions. Read.
By the way that whereof I spake unto thee.
Moses had to remind them, this happening because of just the way I'm telling you it's going to happen, it's going to happen the exact same way. Come on.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
We wouldn't see our homeland again as a nation. What is our homeland? Young brother in the back, kind of slowed down. What's your name, bro? Right here, you there. What's your name?
Josh.
Josh? What's our homeland? Africa, right? That's what you say, right? Let's see real quick. Let's go to Galatians 4, the 4th chapter, the 26th verse. Let's see. Because the Bible tells you where your homeland is.
Galatians chapter 4 and verse 26.
Come on.
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
So what's the motherland? Jerusalem is the motherland. Now, Jerusalem is northeast Africa. It was cut off by something called the Suez Canal. So we're not denying the fact that we come from that region, but we don't come from the people, the Hamites, which live in Africa, that occupy Africa. That's what we're saying. We're not saying we're not from that area, because we are from that area. They cut off that land. Egypt and Israel cut it off. But that middle land, which was the land of Canaan, God gave it to us and named it after us. That's our land. Jerusalem is our land that people live in and occupy today. That's ours. So he's telling us Jerusalem is actually our homeland, which is Northeast Africa. But we don't come from the continent of Africa like we think, as far as we was like had plates on our lips and was letting cows urinate on our head and our hair turn red. You know, we wasn't doing that. We weren't doing all that foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, we was hanging from trees, swinging from trees. Ooh, we wasn't doing that. We was a great nation. That's why the Africans got envious and sold us to the oppressor when he came over. Go back to Deuteronomy 28:68 one more time.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 68.
Come on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Come on.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Read.
In there ye shall be sold unto your enemy.
What happened when we got off the slave ship in America? Sold. What? Because we got a slave port right up the road, right? Right here, right? There's a slave port right here out the Mississippi. Second largest slave port, right? Say it again, the fourth in the road, right? So read that part again. And there
ye shall be sold.
And when you got off the boat, as soon as you got off the boat, they set up auction blocks for you to be sold on the forks in the road, right here. Second largest port, right here. Your history right here, in front of your face. Been here the whole time. Come on.
Unto your enemies.
Unto who?
Unto your enemies.
Unto your friends.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your enemies. Read.
For bondman. And bond women.
For slave man and slave woman. So why we divided as a nation? Why we got men against women, women against men? Who did that? Who put that device in there? The way the list does. He said put the man against the woman against the man, take the man out the house, give him wick, give him tanner, give him snap so the man can't be in the house. And now look at us today. Our women hate our men. Our men hate our women. Talk so bad to each other, leave each other bad, but yet we came over here on slave ships together, got off the ship and was sold together. Why do you think they separate your family? Because they know the unity of a black family is going to change a nation. This brother married, I'm married, he aspired to be married one day. We take care of our wives and our kids because that's what God says. But we take God's word, distort it, tell them not to read the Old Testament, tell them to only believe on Christ and pay tithes. They'll forget about, they'll just do all kind of lust. They'll forget about their people. They'll forget about their nation. And that's exactly what we do. Because soon as we bring this out, first thing people say, well, what about the Caucasian people? What about the Chinese people? What about us? When we gonna think about us as a nation? We don't want to destroy it. Name ain't got our own name. Go ahead, finish it out.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man would redeem us. Because who tried to redeem us? Martin Luther King. He tried. They shot him down, killed him. Especially when he started to find out. He said, what did he say? I feel that I have integrated my people into a burning house. As soon as he said, they said, oh Lord, this Negro waking up. Kill him. Malcolm X said, you know what? He started to denounce Islam in the last day. He started saying, we the Israelites. That's too much power for him. Kill him. You can't even, how many of you kids have learned about Marcus Garvey? Because he's on the FBI most wanted list. How you dead and on the FBI most wanted list? Been dead for hundreds of years, but you still on the FBI most wanted list. So you can never learn about him. That's called COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program. That's what they do. They set that up to make sure black people never learn, never grow. And that's why
who that is. You got to understand everything is by design. You can't miss that. We can read now. Right. You know, religion was put upon us when we was in those chains. Matter of fact, I see some chains right here. You use these? Yes, sir. This is what our people was on. We can't deny history. You cannot lie and deny history. This happened to our people. That's the yoke of iron. So we can't say, oh, it didn't happen, or we don't know who it is. Like religion say, well, we don't know who those people are. But they say they don't know who those people are, but yet still they put those fake Jewish people over there in Israel claiming to be you. Because we don't know that that's our land over there. Like he brought out earlier, Jerusalem is our homeland. We can't fathom, we can't put that together. Well, religion can't put it together, but we know because the Bible is true. Right. Now, like I was saying, we wasn't taught that we the chosen. And we wonder why we kill each other. We wonder why we, number one, with baby daddy, baby mama drama. Ask yourself, do you see Chinese people dealing with baby mama, baby daddy? Arabs? Why us then? What happened? Why it got to be us dealing with all that? Right. Because we broke God's covenant. We don't know how to treat our women like you brought out earlier. Our sisters don't know how to treat us. We lost. So without our nationality, without knowing that we the greatest people on the face of the earth, we end up being at the bottom of society because we don't know. Churches failed us. You see what I'm saying? Now watch this. Keep reading.
Verse 7. He is the Lord our God.
Wait a minute. It said, he is the Lord our God. Now let me ask this. So, because I got some church goers in here, right? So now, when the children of Israel was in Egypt, did the Egyptians have the same God as the Israelites? Huh? Sister said no. No, sister said no, right? They weren't the same God. Ain't nothing changed. God was the God of the Israelites back then, and he's still the God of the Israelites today. I'm going to prove that. That's a heavy statement, right? Is it a heavy statement? Because church says God loves everybody, so everybody equal. Now, we're going to learn today the truth of the Bible. Now, It said, read that part again, verse 7. And hold that and go get Joel 2 and 27.
Psalm 105 and 7. He is the Lord our God.
He is the Lord our God. Read.
His judgments are in all the earth.
It said his judgment, because guess what? Let me ask you this. All right, who stole this land by rape, rob, and murder? Let's not be afraid. It's just the truth. Caucasians, Edomites, white folks. We can't be afraid to say that. That's the truth. Why is it that we afraid to say the truth when they the ones did all the dirt to us? We ain't did no dirt. But my point is, I asked it because I said, who did it, right? So-called white man. Let me ask you this. Was there any judgment passed on them for doing that? No. Why is that? When they stole the whole country. They killed. They raped. They broke all the laws in the Bible. Why haven't they been judged yet? Why is it that they living in the best houses right now off of our ancestors working for free? Why is it? Where they judgment at? Why they ain't getting shot down in the middle of the street? Why they ain't up the bottom? That sister knows something. That sister said, what say, sis?
The man was ready to them.
That sister in the spirit. Now, we gonna prove that. But watch this, keep reading.
Verse 8. He had remembered his covenant forever.
For what?
Forever.
No, it's gonna end.
Forever.
We got the covenant. We got to understand. That's why I asked you. How many of us was taught that Abraham is our forefather? How many of us taught that we were the chosen? We wasn't taught that. But it's in the Bible. Of course, you know they weren't going to let us read. You think if I'm a slave master, he my slave. You actually think I'm saying, you know what? You are God's chosen people, boy.
Right.
Oh, nah. I'm going to say, Christ is white.
Right.
Slave obey your master and close the book and don't let you read. That what went down.
Right.
That what happened. You know they weren't going to say, yeah, you God's chosen people.
Right.
No, they're not doing that. And they still not doing that today. Because who set up the churches? Don't y'all know, in order to set up a church, you have to go to a theologian school, right? Or a seminary school, right? Who own those schools? There you go. So they're going to give you a curriculum on what to teach, just like in school. You just can't, how many school teachers I have in here? Golly, all praises. Y'all finna teach this word. Y'all finna teach this Bible. That's what y'all finna do. This is great. This is a calling greater than that. Y'all gonna wake your people up. Now being a teacher, can y'all just teach our own thing? See, you can't teach it. You can't even teach real black history. Now, if you want to say, you know what, let's not do Malcolm X this year. Let's not do Martin Luther King. Let's talk about Nat Turner.
Right.
Let's teach that. Oh, no, they'll come there and go to whistle. What you got, sir?
I beg to differ as a teacher.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
Can implies having the ability to. I do.
Okay, you teach.
I don't have permission.
But you do. Okay. That's okay. Okay, you bucket. Okay. Okay. I got you. You gonna do it. You gonna stand up and do it. All right. I ain't got no problem with that. You know what I'm saying?
But I understand the point you make.
Right. But because they got their curriculum set up. No different from the churches, the same curriculum. Why we can't teach our own history? Why somebody got to give us a curriculum to teach about us?
Right.
What you got, sir?
I come from an African Methodist Episcopal church, and you know, in 28 years, I reached out to him because I'm just now, Herman Ross.
Yeah,
one of my little brothers in college put me on this last year, and I'm just trying to figure out how do I come from a church founded by free slaves, and I don't know any of this, and I've been raised in the church.
Same thing.
28 years.
They got to go through the curriculum.
YPD president, everything, and I've never heard of none of it.
And all of it easy to understand.
Yeah.
It's not no deep mystery. That's just verbatim from what it is from history. Because the Bible is our history book.
Right.
Now watch this. Why was? Keep reading.
Verse 8. He had remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations.
Come on.
Which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath with Isaac.
Come on.
And confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law.
Come on.
And to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
See that? We got an everlasting covenant. Now go to Joel 2 and 27. Because I remember the sister, when I asked the question, the sister said, because the laws weren't given to nobody else. And I made a statement earlier. I said, God is the God of the Israelites back then and today. That's why he killed the Egyptians. That's why David what? Killed the Philistines. They ain't had the same God. They look like us. Don't get it, misunderstood. We all was the same color then. The first so-called white man, because ain't nobody white on this earth. Don't get it. Don't let her fool you. And we ain't black. We brown. We different shades of brown. We're not black as my boots and pants. No. We're dark brown to light brown. They're not white. They're not the color of the paper that you got in your hand. They're red. What the Bible explained their color, where they came from. But now, back to my point, because I said God is the God of the Israelites back then and today. Read what you got, Joel 2:27.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God.
Wait a minute, he said, I'm in the midst of Israel, meaning I'm with you, and that I'm the Lord your God. Your house, your wife is not my wife. Right. Unless you want me to commit adultery. I know you want. Your wife is your wife. Your house is your house. Your car is your car. Right. He said, I'm the Lord your God. And what else? Just in case, I got some teachers in here, so y'all please correct me if I'm wrong. Because my grammar is off. So help me to understand this next verse.
And none else.
So read it again. Say, I'm the Lord what?
I am the Lord your God, and none else.
And what else?
And my people shall never be ashamed.
And we shall not be ashamed. That's the truth of the Bible. You understand? That's the truth of the Bible. Now, let's get to the New Testament, because somebody may say, oh, that's Old Testament. Give me Romans 11 real quick, 11 and 1. Let's see about Paul, because, I'm all in Christian. Let's see about Paul. Because Christianity and religion will kind of twist you up if you have no understanding of the Bible. If you ain't reading precept upon precept, you'll get messed up thinking, oh, that was back then. No, they did that for a reason, so they can keep our history away from us, and when we won't read it at all, we'll just skip over it like, oh, it's nothing. But when you read that history, you're actually reading about your forefathers and your foremothers. Right. You're reading your history. Now, read what you got in Romans 11 and 1.
Romans chapter 11 and verse 1. I say then, has God cast away his people?
See that? Wait a minute. Have God cast away the Israelites? Have God cast away you brothers and sisters that's sitting here today? Let's see.
God forbid.
Meaning no.
Right.
Y'all still my people. I still love y'all. But you just got to come back to me, because we dispersed and left God. Right. We done went to Baptist, we done went to Pentecostal, we done went to Jehovah's Witness, we done went to Egyptology, we done went to Mason, we done went to this, we done went to Greek fraternity, we went over here. We done spread out all over the place. Right. We ain't following him like we should. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For I also am an Israelite.
So Paul said, wait a minute, I'm an Israelite. Right. Why the churches don't teach that? Right. Paul was telling you, look, I'm an Israelite. Come on.
Of the seed of Abraham.
Wait a minute, of the seed of who?
Of the seed of Abraham.
Just like all of us are here. Come on.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
And he knew what tribe he was from. Right. Now, if I ask you how many people went to church, it was a lot of hands. I guarantee you, your pastor ain't told you what tribe you're from. Right. But you know what? Even before I got the knowledge, the Most High woke me up. I always say, I wonder what tribe I was from in Africa. That's it. Right. I wonder what tribe I was from. Not knowing that I'm from the tribe of God, of the Israelites. That's right. Read.
God have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What ye not? What the scriptures said?
Now watch this. Now let's get to the kingdom of heaven. We're going to show you the kingdom of heaven is for us. You think, we always say God is a just God. God is a just God. So now we got to keep in mind, God is a just God. So wait a minute, why my nation always at the bottom and everybody else at the top? Why the Arab can come over here and get all the corner stores and get a $100,000 grant free? Right. And I can't even go to the bank and get a $2,000 loan. Well, if I do get a $2,000 loan, they're going to tax me all type of interest. But they can get $100,000 free money come from overseas, and they supposed to be the enemy of U.S., of America. But wait a minute, why they own all our corner stores? Why the Chinese man can come over here and get a business started?
5 minutes from the restaurant.
Now them our brothers and sisters too. Mexicans, You know, them my brothers and sisters. That's why they talking about pushing them against them, not talking about building a wall, but you know, it's deeper than a wall. It's just all about tax breaks, and they got to get the money from somewhere to do a smoke and mirror string. It ain't never with the gut. When they put something out, don't believe it. Tell them. There's always something behind. What you got? What I said? Give me Revelation 21, and then you get to Acts 1 and 6 too.
The book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 12. And had a wall great and high.
It had a wall great and high. This finna describe the kingdom of heaven, which is rulership. Read.
And had 12 gates.
Wait a minute. Hey, what my smart brothers and sisters at? What is a gate for? To keep people out and with us. And keep people in, right? Right. So if it's the kingdom of heaven, we all gonna be kumbaya with everybody. Why it got gates? Who we keeping out? Who we keeping in? You understand what I'm saying? Watch this, keep reading.
And had 12 gates. And at the gates 12 angels. And the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
So wait a minute, why aren't they teaching you in church about the 12 tribes of Israel when the kingdom of heaven is for us? Right. Now, that's what I'm saying. That's letting you know that we've been fooled with all that other stuff. The Bible will tell you what's going on if you read it.
Now they will see the treatment of God. We are not black men, we are Israelites. That's right. Take care of us. Take care of us. And our children too. And our children too. We have repented. We have repented. How are you? How are you? People want to know who's the king.
Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.